Hello everyone and welcome to the Alundra any percent tutorial. This tutorial will focus on the Japanese version, although you can still use it if you're going to learn the US version. You just need to adjust some strats according to bosses, for example. But for most of the for the most part you can still use this tutorial to learn the game. I'm also going to assume that you have played the game, so I will not go into basic stuff about the game, but I will go into detail about speedrun strats. So the first trick you see right there, which you may not know about if you just played this casually, is you can continue dashing going around corners. And the way this works is basically you want to keep holding triangle throughout the entire dash sequence. But let's say I'm going to dash downwards here and I'm turning right, as you just saw. The way this works is you let go of the down button, then you have to wait exactly 10 frames, and after 10 frames you have a 6-frame window of repressing any direction. It can be the same, so you can keep dashing into the same direction. So yeah, a 6-frame window, it's pretty easy to do. You shouldn't really mess it up too much after some practice. And right here, there would be a cutscene starting right here, but because this is a tutorial and we don't need to watch cutscenes really, I'm going to skip it. Just one quick little thing. In this cutscene there is some text that advances automatically, but you can still advance it faster by measuring the square button. You save like a couple seconds throughout the entire cutscene. This counts for all cutscenes with text. You can save some seconds here and there, so just keep measuring the square button. Let's continue. We're in the trunk room, and as you can see, when I'm going upwards or downwards, Alundra's movement is not in a straight line like I'm pressing the buttons, but rather it's all shaky. So what we're going to do is we're just jumping to negate this effect. Oh, and I got it, like there is one spot where I can just jump over it. If not, just press the square button, pick up a crate and go outside. And since this is another cutscene, we're going to skip it, and keep in mind pressing your square button every now and then to advance the text a bit faster. So this is one of the very rare occasions when Chess is still alive where you have to dash through his room, because most of the time he will stop you going into his room because he makes a new weapon or something for you. But yeah, right there we can dash to the door and then he will talk to us there. So something that is actually very important in this game is the way you advance text. The way you can advance text fast in this game is basically you hold down the square button for as long as possible, and once you need to advance the text to the next line, which it's not always the case that you have to press the square button to advance to the next line, but most of the time you have to, and that's when you want to repress square and hold it until the next line is finished. So if you want to go really deep into this game and take it really serious, you gotta learn just how long each line of text is. But just as an estimate, like compared to maybe Spirix, who has the any percent world record in this game currently, you will maybe lose like roughly 2 minutes to being inferior in text advancing. So it sounds like a lot, but honestly this is a 4.5 hour run, so it's not really that big of a deal if you don't go that deep into detail for the beginning. It won't really matter, you won't notice it. So our first objective is we need to go to Tan's Manor and get the Book of Elna, and that's where we are heading now. Also, since I'm trying to focus on making a tutorial that's also really useful for beginners, I will point out lots of safeties, which if you want to survive a speedrun of this, and you can ask anyone that started speedrunning this at some point, they will agree, you want to have lots of safety items at the beginning. Like, you will need any herb or any tonic that you can get along the way for your first couple runs, if you want to make it through. So right here I'm going to save state because I want to show you something. I want to do it first and then I will show you again what I did. I almost got it there. So basically what you want to do is, when you're standing roughly there, once you gain control back of Alundra after Malthus talks to you, you want to go down to a specific point and slash with your sword. Then the other 3 mercs, like you will kill the merc that is standing here, and the other 3 mercs will, because you attacked and you're close enough to them, they will jump attack towards you. So basically what you can do is just go a little bit to the right, turn left and slash. I'm showing it again. There we go. And right there, that was actually pretty good because it is necessary for the run. The merc dropped some gilder. They dropped 15 there, which is already really good. And you want to have 30 gilder at some point, but going into detail into that later. But just to point it out already. And we can basically use the crates to get rid of those slimes. They will one-shot them. So what I did there to hit the lever earlier than just stopping my dash, if you hold any face button when you're dashing, like I'm dashing upwards and at some point I just hold, like in my case I hold circle and then I will do a shoulder dash and that counts as an attack, as you see there. With that you can also activate levers. It's a little bit quicker than stopping your dash and hitting the lever with your dagger. So for this room, it really doesn't matter which of the barrels you use because you only need 2. Just do whatever you're comfortable with. I just picked up those 2 now because that's what Spirex does, so I think it's the fastest. And what you want to do now is basically, for the easy method, you're standing anywhere here, dash, to the left, to the right, and make it through. Oh, actually I stopped the gate because I stopped underneath it. But yeah, basically dash left, dash right, make it through. The first safety item is in this chest. It's an herb. No, that's the Gilded Falcon, damn. The herb is in this one. I was confident, but I wasn't right. So yeah, the first herb, if you want it, get it. You shouldn't need it here yet. But it's a fast pickup, so why not? Gonna hit this 3 times and enter this here. So the first, like, quote-unquote harder trick is coming up. You want to jump from here over to this island, and I say quote-unquote hard because I have some troubles with it sometimes, but it's not that precise. So if I wouldn't have failed this, you could have also dashed right into the ladder. This is our first health upgrade. If you're going to play this on console or run this on console, you want to enable fast disk speed because the item fanfare that just played will play at double the speed. And over the course of the run you will save something like 5 minutes. It depends on how many life vessels you will pick up throughout the run. But it's roughly 5 minutes. So you want to stop your dash there and kind of slide into the Book of Elna, because otherwise you would bonk off the table and not pick up the book. So yeah, talking about Gilder, you can just open this and get the 30 Gilder you need. If you don't want to rely on RNG, you can just pick up that chest. There's one later that you can also pick up. It's up to you which one you really want to pick up if you do so. It's honestly not too bad to rely on RNG for getting the 30 Gilder, but if you don't want to do that for your first runs, just get this chest. And we are out of the first dungeon. That wasn't all that bad. Also, talking about console and fast disk speed, it also increases or decreases the loading time by quite a lot over the course of the run. From like different people that ran the game on emulator first and then switched to console, the estimate was from all of them roughly like 20 minutes from what you save with playing on console. No one really timed it because it's not really needed, and it's kinda confirmed that console is way faster. But yeah, keep that in mind. If you want to play this game on emulator, you will have like a big time loss because of that. And talking about emulators even more, because there's not a lot of stuff going on right now. The emulator you want to use kind of for speedrunning this game is BizHawk. Because BizHawk is just the most accurate emulator out there for PS1 speedrunning. At least from my experience for Alundra. There are also other emulators like PSXE or PSXFin, which PSXFin is like the worst you can use. EPSXE is kinda acceptable. We don't really care too much what you use because they are slower anyway. But it's really up to you what you feel like you want to use. So in this dungeon you will really get to test how good you are at the quick turns when dashing, and paid attention to how shoulder dashes work, because there are lots of levers you need to hit. And as you see from me going through this here, it's really not hard hitting the window for doing a quick turn. Like if you play this game casually, maybe just force yourself to use this ability every now and then, and by the end of the game you should feel pretty confident in doing it. So right here, you want to enter this kind of in the center of the room, because there's a slime spawning on the far left and on the far right, and you can only trigger one of them. Depending on where you are, you may want to just trigger the other one by going there. So the first boss is coming up, and for the first boss, the first hit you want to do is you want to use your dagger for the first phase. And all of your other hits, which there are going to be 10 hits in total, one with your dagger, and the leftover 9 hits you want to do with a short shoulder dash. And talking about a short shoulder dash, I will just pause like this so we have some music going on. A short shoulder dash is basically the shortest possible shoulder dash you can do, which is you hold down. In this case, it's very convenient to hold down the circle and triangle button, and after winding up your sprint for a bit, just hold the direction you want to do the shoulder dash into. Like Alundra is not even starting a dash, he's just starting the shoulder dash. And this way it's very controllable of how far you go, because it's not really far at all, like as I can show you right here. This is a short shoulder dash, what it looks like. And you want to do that because it deals 1.5 times as much damage as your dagger at this point, and every second shoulder dash you do into this boss basically saves you one hit, and as you can see this boss has quite some iframes. So you save a lot of time actually from doing this. So right here you want to hit all 4 of them just as they spawn, and then kind of spread your damage evenly between all of them to keep track of how many times you hit them. Because at some point they are going to split up again, and you want to control when they are splitting up. This one should split up now. No, not yet. Oh, now they're splitting up. Because if you don't control it, like the 4 small slimes will go all over the place, like that. That was a perfect example, that was totally intended. So that was the first boss, and although it is the first boss, it is quite difficult to kill him without taking too much damage. But yeah, if you picked up the safety herb earlier, you already have 1 healing item you could use on this boss if you really need it. So even though I skipped some cutscenes earlier, I will not skip like parts that are essentially auto-scrollers, like right there with the text, just to keep them in the tutorial so you know where to go next, what to do next. But in cutscenes you can't really miss anything. So you will get to sit through the text advancing here with me. So maybe talking about text advancing, the way I do it, I just have kind of a rhythm in which I hold down the square button and then release it and repress it as soon as possible. And it kinda works out in a way of where I skip through the text kinda fast. Obviously, if I knew how long each line was, I could save some time with it. But this way, it's like a good balance between not having to practice text advancing but still going through it big enough to not lose that much time. Also talking about text, if you're still watching this and learning the US version of the game, there's a difference between the US and Japanese version. Obviously, it's the characters, one is Japanese, one is English. But in the US version there's actually like each text box has 3 lines of text, whereas in the Japanese version there can only be 2 lines of text at once. And that also makes Japanese faster than the US version. So one thing that is to note is if you're dashing, like you hear that little doo sound when I start dashing, this one right there. And this sound makes it so if you're going into a loading zone while this sound plays, the loading zone will be longer. So if I would have kept dashing into the loading zone here, it would have lengthened the loading zone by quite a lot. In the case of this one, it would have probably been a second, so it's faster to stop the dash rather close to the door, preferably just so you need to hold up and just walk into the door. So you need to get a feel for when the sound will play and just decide whether or not it should be worth it to dash into the door or walk into the door. The sound roughly plays every 1.5 seconds after it has played the last time. But it will only play if you change directions or start a dash. So let's say you just triggered the sound and 1 second later you go into a loading zone. It's very unlikely that the sound will play again, so you can keep on dashing into it. It's a very minor thing, but just to keep it in mind. Like right there, it wouldn't have been worth it to stop the dash because I could trigger the sound rather early. And that also goes for other sound effects, like for example the bomb or enemies. So right here, you don't need to talk to Olin. You can skip talking to him. Only need to talk to the villagers that are actually awake. Which is the only exception, I think. This is the only time you don't need to talk to the person that is sleeping. So going into Olin's nightmare, you want to hold down, which usually it's the exit to the coal mine, but because this is a dream and it doesn't have the exit to the overworld, it will put you to the door we need to go to, which is very convenient. It's a little bit faster than walking or dashing. So right here, code you need to remember for the coal mine dungeon is left, left, right, left. It's very easy to remember, but if you want to note it down, you can do so. Also, one thing that is very important is it's not always faster to dash. Like, walking is actually much better than you would think it is. In this case, it is faster to just jump over there and talk to him. Like, dashing is only worth it if you dash more than 8 tiles, and that's only going in a straight line. If you go diagonal, it depends on how long you go in straight lines. Is there anything else I need to point out? Don't think there is anything else that is important for now, at least. Well, important is we are going to get the bomb, and my max health, well, my current health rather, is 5, and the bomb deals 5 damage if I get hit by it. So it could be a potential one-shot at this point of the game. So this is a good example. After picking up the bomb, it's definitely not worth it to sprint out of the house. It's faster to just walk. So maybe talking about the length of each item fanfare, each item fanfare is roughly 12 seconds, so you save 6 seconds per item fanfare, roundabout. So since, yeah, I was about to say, since there are NPCs all over the place, usually you want to dash like past the sky, which is not too hard, and then up here, and once you start getting to the stairs, you want to stop your dash, because it is super hard getting around the sky with dash, and it's barely worth it. Like, most of the time you will bonk into him and then lose more time than you would have gained by dashing past him. So again, walking is better than dashing here. Doing the first menu, you want to pull the bomb roughly there where I did. Gives you a good time to avoid taking damage from it. If you're feeling ballsy, you can pull it slightly earlier so it will explode right as you get to the stone. So if you want to save a frame, pull the bomb while standing and not while jumping. You can cut the grass here in order to maybe get some lucky health drops. You want to pull the bomb roughly around there, throw it, and go in there. So here's a weird time saver. If you pull a bomb and just jump into the water for whatever reason, Alundra just speeds up walking on the water and you save roughly 1 second. I think it's actually 2 seconds you save with this. Also, walking on water is slow, so you want to jump. So I talked about another Gilder chest that is in this game that you can pick up, which is either the one to the left or to the right, but since I already have Gilder, I don't need it, but there's an herb here that you can pick up. It's a good safety item to get that doesn't waste a lot of time. And as I said already, you will need them eventually. Oh, I need to start the engine. Whoops. Does that work? No, it doesn't. I screwed up. Oops. I'm completely messing up now. That never happened. No one saw that. I'm the first time entering this room now for this tutorial. So there's like something you can do here that could potentially save time, but it usually never works out. Which is, you can dash or try to dash out of this room and hope the turtles are not going to be in your way. A turtle deals 3 damage, so I have 8 health, so I surely want to try the gamble. Didn't pay off. So again, jumping on water to negate the slowdown effect just a little bit. So right here, you want to hit this lever and then wait until the text plays. If you leave this room before the text plays, you soft lock. So the next room has a weird strategy actually. I don't know why it works like that, but it just does. It's one of the random things that occurs in Alundra. Also, you can hope for some health drops here if you need them from the slimes, which of course they're not dropping some now. So you want to pick up this crate and you want to be standing like rather there. As you saw, I just jumped diagonally there and threw it. You can just stand right there and throw it as well. And you see the lever down there, you can hit it like that. Now you may be wondering, why don't we use a bomb for example? Well, can't use bombs. They just bounce off of the wall there. For some reason crates can go down there, but bombs can't. Just Alundra things. So you want to kill the 3 mercs here in order to open the door again, then get the key and be out of this room. And yeah, usually these slimes drop stuff on the way out of this room just as they did there. That's my luck. So what you want to do now is we are first backtracking to the beginning of this dungeon and you see the lever to the left there. One of which was rusted and was opened by us driving by with the minecart. The other one, you can shoulder dash into it. But I'm going to demonstrate what you don't want to do is this. You don't want to start your shoulder dash too late. You want to start it rather early, so you only hit the lever once. If you think you're not getting it because your timing is a little bit off and you will always hit it twice, just stop your dash and slash it with your dagger. It's very minimal, slower. So what you can do here is you can jump onto those wooden posts. Just jump over there. If you don't get it, like if you, let's say you jump, oh I didn't get it, just continue jumping. You can hit this from down here as well. Jumping over the wooden post is just slightly faster, and this is the minecart skip. You just jump up there and don't do the minecart puzzle. Right here you want to pull a bomb and let it be ignited by the turtle. Saves the time from the bomb to explode by itself. Basically standing to the left of the turtle triggers it into attacking to the left, and then you can just ignite the bomb like that. I tried to jump on this wooden pole. It's A little bit precise, I usually don't get it, but it's doable. So now is something coming up that usually only plays a role later on into the run, but this is like the first application where you can use it, and I would suggest you do use it. So the jump basically from this wooden platform to the right down to here is rather precise, and at least I tend to fail it from every now and then. There's a mechanic in this game where if you hold something above your head, your jump gets extended by exactly 1 frame, and you may think, oh, it's just 1 frame, but trust me, it makes a big difference in this game. Just hold something above Alundra's head and this jump will become easy peasy. But dashing there, you have to be a bit careful because the third turtle is usually going to be up there somewhere. And this is basically a must get. This herb it's so quick to get, you really want this one. So right now you already have, if you got all the safeties, 3 herbs. Which is, it's a pretty good stack of healing items to have. So right here, just shoulder dash into the 2 and then just hit both of them twice again, and then the puzzle is solved. Just ignore what the actual solution is, just hit both of them 3 times like that. So if you don't feel like using your healing item, just jump down there and get healed for free. Which, that is like a very, very safe safety. Because you only need to fight 4 merc, from which 2 of them you're going to kill before they even move. And the other 2 shouldn't be too much of a danger either. So if you're really just desperate for health and you don't want to waste your healing items, use that. So the merc will be immobilized for the beginning of this fight. Alundra can move before them, so you just walk down to them. Smack 2, which... Good thing I failed it. Was a little bit late there with my sword hit. So this is the first life vessel that you can actually skip. The game doesn't force you to get this one. The first one we had to get, this one we could skip. This one is actually one of the inferior ones to skip because you can open this chest before you can leave this area. Like, you have to wait just a little bit before you can leave this area here. And this will be the end of the first part of this tutorial. So be sure to check out the second part